We're in application new. Why is it saying new? Because we're what? Creating. Absolutely. We are creating. You're going to see a number of fields, and you're going to see some new numerical applications here that you've never seen before. But the boxes with the help tabs are mandatory. Now, there are some problems with this already, but they're working on it. So some of you can get in and some of you may not. But I'm going to start with this box right here because that's the first one. I'm going to click on it. Tell me to wait a minute. I'm waiting patiently. And a Bowling application pops up. What's important about this Bowling application is that you get to determine through all these numbers and all these different acronyms how your grant is placed in there. You might have a description of a grant. You may have somebody's name under the grant. It may not be yours. It may be your board of supervisors. But with Bowling, what it does, sometimes we can't remember exactly the number or exactly the name. So what's important here? On all these fields on the left side in the search criteria, I want you to take a look. There's a drop-down arrow. You're going to become familiar with this. And as they drop down, I might not know the program description, but I might know the program type. So I'll click program type. I'm going to come over here. Is a default. That means that it's exactly what you say it is. But that may not be true. You get that little arrow up there. So what I want to do, it is or is not. And on some, you'll find that it says, on this one it is and is not. But on this one right here, look at that. Contains, start with, in between, is less than. So you have to play with it. And we encourage you to go in. And don't be afraid of it. Just do not save the stuff that you play with. Do not save, because Magic is live and is recording everything you put into the system. Why is that important? It helps you navigate. Also the same thing over here. Program type, by what agency? And you'll be able to pull this down and find, who are we? Public safety. Okay? Now, in the earlier screen, I told you there are help boxes. Now, if that's all you know, you drop to a help box. Well, I forgot what that man said. Let me hit this box. And as you hit that box, something pop up. Well, look for what you know. I don't do anything with education. I keep coming down. Public safety, Homeland Security. No. Public safety, Department of Justice. No. Public safety, others. No. So who are we? You see that? Highway safety. So I will come over here, and as you do that, that number will always be 50,128. So I click in that box, and it gives me a number. Now, watch what happens. Now that I have a search criteria inside of here, I have a maximum number of results. This can change to whatever. Now, this is going to be important. It's going to default to 100. But what if there's 1,000 records in there? How many records will you be able to see if you leave it at 100? 100. So, you can put 999, okay? And as you put 99 in it, it'll run you up to 1,000, and you'll have multiple screen sets of this information. Now, I'm going to hit search here. And when I hit search, what happened? You see, a list of grants. Now, what's going to happen for yours is that as you populate, it's going to populate your grants. Right now, it's populating everybody's grants. It's populating everybody's grants right now. But let's go down here. Anybody see anything that look like theirs? 405D, look at here. But I'm using this as an example. You might have other identifying criteria that you may want to look at. So let me just pick one out of the blue, and I think I want to pick this 620. What happened? Anybody see that? I didn't hear it. I heard it. It's populated. It populated. What populated? The program ID. Your program ID is this long number. It'll give you an identifier what type of grant it is. It's a 405D grant. You should match those up with your grant that signed grant that you get from us to ensure that you have a proper grant. This is very important. We cannot have you working on a 154 grant when it should have been a 405. Just because it came from Office of Highway Safety and you didn't look at it, the responsibility is yours. If you find it as soon as you get it and read it, then you can get it back to us and we can make corrections as needed. Program ID, that's your ID. Posting date, service organization, that's something for us. That's Mississippi Department of Transportation. That is a standard field for us. And the start dates and end dates. Status, initial. Why is that initial? Say it, I heard it? Create, because we're still in the create window. Your sales organization can be State of Mississippi's sales organization. You'll learn that. I don't know why they use that, but that will populate. But it'll populate on. U.S. congressional districts. Now, I'm showing you this window because this is the start of the application. This is the type of information you will put into the system. And that this information will be sent forward to us. Now, I know you're looking over here at this dollar value, but don't look at that yet. I don't want you to stay focused now. Stay focused. I want you to come down here to our item list. And what I want you to look at is this is the storage bin. This is the closet to magic. This is where all your information is stored. If I have certain multiple application forms, I hit my arrow and it'll drop down. It says there's no application forms for this application. I click back. Notes. I want to put in some notes for this application, for this one I just put in, for this 7,620,000. I'm going to change it because somebody's going to count those zeros. But let's take a look. Notes. Well, something happened. Now, let me make a note in here. Did not have proper documentation, need this, waiting on MOHS. Whatever the note may be, when you drop that arrow down, you start entering that note. And that note, whatever you put in and save, will stay there, will be there for always. Your next note in there, it'll just truncate. They'll just stack on. Attachments. Very important. We're talking about how are we going to get all this information, and some of your packets are very large, some are very thin. Who have those very large packets? All right, Dream raised her hand. Raise it again, Dream. All right. Very large packages. What happens? All that information that pertains to that grant, supporting documentations, evidence, will be scanned into the system. And it will come up under this URL in the scan to have attachments. We can hit attachments, or we can go online and find it also. But all that information will be here. So as you go into it, for the ones who can get in, and when you others will get in, everybody else will get in. So again, we ask that you do not be afraid of the system. Go through it and click on some of these icons. But do not save anything. You only want to save the real information that you want us to see. Only. Because magic is live. And I said, it may not be as well, but it's live.
What if you get started and want to go back and finish it later, and you save and go back?
Yes, yes. You can always go back. Okay? Here in the change history, transaction history, these case management, dates, scheduled action, and partners. This right here is going to be some supported evidence that is important to the total grant. Everybody that's able to look at your grant will be listed under the partners. So when you get it to the program manager, guess whose name's going to be above you? Well, it may not be you, but it may be the person from your agency who have the access to input in Magic. Their name would be there saying that they released it or sent it, and it goes to a program manager. At any time, the beauty of this, you can go into your system and see where the hang-up is. Let's say you sent it and let's say you got a complex like mine, you just wanted a minute ago. You sent it, now you're waiting 5 minutes, you got to have it. Well, you go back into the system and you look and see, did anybody pick it up? Well, if you send it to a program manager, it's going to go to the program manager queue. And that's part of what we call the workflow. That workflow goes from your agency to the program manager. Program manager looks at it, make a determination, make an analysis. If there's anything wrong, they'll send it back to you. You send the information that they requested back to them. They approve it, and it goes to a next level. So if we do application and the application get approved, what's next? Anybody know? I heard it. Agreement. You have to have an agreement. We're in the application. You create an application. You're requesting something. We make an analysis, make a determination. Once that application gets approved, it turns into an agreement. That agreement, once you get that back, it's signed, all that good stuff, then you're authorized to make a claim for reimbursement. I want you to notice in this change history, as I stated earlier, I want you to know this. Every time you log on, every time anybody log into that system, it's recorded. Every step. So if someone made a mistake, they can't say, well, I didn't do it. Supervisors, you'll find out who touched it on that date and that time. So these are very important that you just click on them and see the type of information on there. Now let's go back up and let's get to where the rubber hits the road. On an application, you send to the Office of Highway Safety the amount of money that you are requesting, the number of personnel and all that good stuff that you asked for. I need $150,000. I need 8 full-time people and I need 3 cars. Well, that's okay. You can put it on there. And you can tell us a story of why you need 8 people and 3 cars. Well, this is just hypothetical now. Don't think somebody does that. But there are some times when people ask for something, but we have to make a determination based on your historical data, how you use the grant. Are you filing on time? Are you giving the reports on time that we need? Because that's very important. All that plays a very important part on the type of request that we approve for you. DUI officers, are you filling out your step reports? Nonprofits, are you turning in your monthly reports? And that's for all of us. We all must report. Magic is part of our MAP 21 process. because that is our system now. It's adopted. But MAP 21, moving ahead for progress in the 21st century, has defined that we must document. We must have supported evidence for any type of reimbursement. And everything must come in the packet together. If you don't have it, then it's sent back to you, and it's causing time. But the beauty of it, you don't have to mail all that. And someone don't have to say that I wasn't there, so it sat on some reception desk, or somebody picked it up for you and forgot to give it to you. It'll be in your queue. Magic is a web-based system. So whether you're on vacation, whether you're at home or at grandma's house, what's going to happen? You're able to do what? Go online and log on and get into Magic. How beautiful is that? It's kind of like that cell phone, right? You can't say you didn't get it. But let's look at the money. Once you put in a request, you're going to request a certain amount. In that request, that's what you asked for. But we're gonna look at it, and based on the determination and those criteria that I talked about earlier, we're going to determine what is your eligible amount and your authorized amount. And that is what we'll be turning into a process for your agreements, just like we do normally. Nothing would change. We're just doing it digitally and electronically. Once you get that information, that agreement, then you file a claim. Now, let's go to real time now. Because some of you, like I stated earlier, your information is already in Magic. It's already there. Once we come, whatever you do, let's look at this. Whatever you do in Magic, the last thing that you save is going to go to your recent column. Just like when you open your email, you go to recent. It has the same criteria base. These are some recent activities that you inputted. So you can always go back based on these numbers. Now, take a look at this. This does not have words on it. All it has is numbers. Program numbers, grant ID numbers, and these numbers are very important. And you really need to make a master list of your program numbers. Your program identification is one for your agency, but your claims number and your I'm looking for the other one. And your grant ID numbers, those are different identifiers that would determine how you can find that same grant. I'm going to click on one over here just to let you see what happened. Do I want to save this? No. Okay? Now, this is what things look like. Okay? Let's take a look at this. Look at all the information that has come in. A description, a grant ID number. See, that number is different. The agreement ID is different. The program ID is different. And that's the reason why we're telling you, as you get these agreements back into the Magic system, these numbers are true identifiers for you. True identifier to that grant. And each grant will have those identifiers for you. The start date, which is the posting date, and the end date. When will it end? Some of you deal with 12-month grants, some deals with 6 months grant, and some of you may deal with mini grants for a certain period of time. Those dates must match what you do in Magic. So again, constantly review this pertinent information. The last change, the employee responsible. Now, you won't see these names right here, but this name is a default because we have somebody in our operation named Sharon McCain who works for Ms. Bernicia Cody. But none of that get to her until it's authorized by this staff, MOHS staff. And it goes to her. Because you don't have that access right now, you're still sending things in sort of the old-fashioned way to get paid. Well, what is really happening is that we are authorized, the division directors are authorizing that, getting into the accounting office, and Sharon is the responsible person right now, making sure that you get paid. How many of you have already been paid through Magic? Okay? A few of you have been paid through Magic. Some of you, how many of you waiting to be paid in Magic? Oh, that's good. You ain't waiting. All right. Well, I'm waiting to be paid in Magic. Well, you're going to start receiving a lot of this information take hold. The executive director and the director of the Office of Highway Safety has given a mandate to ensure that you are paid on time. As our executive director states, that we are way ahead of everybody else in trying to make sure that our partners are being paid. And we work on that. The staff works hard day and night, and everybody in the state that deals with Magic, they're trying to support us to help you. And that's our mission, to support you, get you everything you need. As we look at this again, you'll see all this information, final claim, payment approved. Now this is information that we will see. We was working on your side, trying to find out your status of what you would actually see. This is what a program manager would see. Manager at different levels, a lot of information. But your screen was somehow look just like this, but may not be with all this information. But you'll have the pertinent things that you need to look at and identify. As we go down here, you'll notice that under this item list, we'll start looking at the designations of salary, fringes, travel, and printing, and so on. All this activity is recorded. Once it get approved, it get recorded, and it stays in there. It doesn't go anywhere. Every month that you go into that and file under that claim, it's recorded here. Any claim forms? Okay. Any notes? Any attachments? And you have to go over here, pull these things down. We're not going to get into all that right now. But let me go back here and we'll show you that. See this action right here? PDF file. You see that? We're not going to go in there, but I want you to see how it already truncated that information that was sent in, that we put in for you at this time. To expedite time, again, as you pull down these million, different things will populate. Once we get into about June of next year, it's going to be a lot of information. You can go back very easily and find this information. Once you send in that claim, everything's going to be subtracted and defaulted by your eligibility and your authorized amount. And as this information get in to be paid, okay, and this is just payments, it would take away from the grant. That's going to be a running tally. So that is not a $5,000 grant, it's more. There was a couple of things that happened, and some of your grants went split. Some grants split on two different funding sources. And some of you, if you know that, you've probably seen that, but that's okay. Call your program manager, and they are willing to help you understand your applications and your grants. Now, this is just an overview. I don't want to get in too far because I don't want to take you too far out until we get the final information. We're going to start emailing you, and we're going to set up some more sessions. I've already talked with the groups at headquarters. We're going to try to set up some sessions. But we believe some of the best activities that when you get your access into that is to go in and don't be afraid and try to work the system. If you need help, go to the help center. Go to the help center. If you get lost in the help center, call who? Call me. If you call me, that's fine. And then I would direct you to the right person. Okay? But call your program manager. Your program manager will truly help you. If you need any help, call our office and we will help you. But your first source is your program manager. It goes through that chain. And if they need my assistance, they will call me. The division directors and their staff will call me to ask for assistance. And I'm willing to help you guys in any way I can. Okay? So this is basically the overview, and this is all I want to give you right now. And as we get more pertinent information to get into the system that is supportive in your operation, then we will email that out, tell you to come to some more training. Some of that training may be one-on-one, some may be in groups. So we have to work all those details out.